Hi guys, had a question on one of my old videos about this car. 2014 I think the video. One of my charity shop finds, still got the label on it. Cost me £1.50 and it came with the controller. It's an Infiniti G37, I think you can just see that. Yeah, Infiniti G37. This one's made by Rastar. You see that? Yeah, Rastar. Scale 1/14. 2008 Infiniti G37. Now I don't think this was made in 2008. Well, it may have been, but it was the 2008 Infiniti, if that makes sense. So it's the date of the model of the car, not the date of the toy being made, although they may be the same. In fact, that was the question: how old was the car? No idea is the answer. That's the only date on it. I've put batteries in it. In fact, I've been daring. I put 2 of the lithium-ion batteries in there. It normally runs on 5 AA's, 7.5 volts. 2 lithium-ion batteries, fully charged, 4.2 volts each, so 8.4 volts possibly, which is about what 5 brand new AA batteries pump out as well. So I gave it a quick try and it works. If anything, it's a bit overpowered. The controller takes a 9-volt battery. Got a bit of a wobble around on them. That appears to be some sort of suspension. I'll do a teardown on this in a minute. .40 megahertz. I think that's about all we can say about it. Oh, it's one of those with working lights. And the detail inside is excellent. It's a really nice car. So we'll just run it around on the floor for a minute and then we'll do a teardown, because I didn't do a teardown on the original video. I'll give it a run with the mini camera attached. Just knocked the camera off, so that's probably a good time to stop. I'll give it a run with the mini camera attached. Knock the camera off, so that's probably a good time to stop. Right. Take the batteries out just in case. If you haven't seen my videos on these lithium-ion batteries, I've already said 4.2 volts fully charged, rated at 3.7, but think about it as 4.2. So we need 7.5 volts. I'm giving it about 8.5. So overvolting it slightly. And these yellow things are just dummies. They're just straight through straps. They're not batteries. Right, it's actually missing a screw there. I don't think I did a teardown on this. I can't find it in my files. If I did do a teardown, I didn't call it anything to do with the Infiniti, because I searched for Infiniti and I could only find 2 previous videos. The original one where I was showing you what I bought in the charity shop, because for those of you who've been with me a long time will know that I used to do most of my videos based on what I could go and find cheap in charity shops. But certainly for the last year and a bit, since last March, we haven't been doing any charity shopping because they've all been shut. And I probably wouldn't want to go in them anyway at the moment. So, is that going to come out nicely? Looks like the back comes up first and the bottom unclips. Okay, what have we got underneath? Okay, lighting. Fairly straightforward. That rather nice interior. I wonder if we might just have a peek at the interior before we do anything else. Excuse my hand being in the way. I was just rather impressed with that interior detail. I've seen a few other Rastar cars and they do seem to go in for the detail. I've no idea what sort of price range these are when they're new. I would guess they're probably not the cheapest. Right. Okay, so that's the black wire's the aerial. And we've got clear plastic for the windows. And then there's our interior. Even got a sat nav there. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. And you've got the instrument details in the binnacle there. Oh. Sun's come out now. It's probably too dark to see anything because the camera will compensate. Inside of the doors with the door handles. Yeah, a nice bit of interior work there. Right, I'll stop the camera and screw that back in. I said I'd stop the camera, but I just noticed one other little bit of detail. A proper mirror. It actually has shiny stuff in it. It's a rear view mirror. And oh, that one's lost its shiny bit. That's probably me smashing it into things. That one's still got its mirror. Yeah, see, nice bit of detail. Right, I'll put the top back together. What should we look at next? I'll just pop the receiver board out, see if it's got a date on it at all. Well, that says, from the looks of it, 0209-21600.00350, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. And down here it says YH081021. Which could be 2008, October 21st. Could be. So it might have been made in 2008. I suppose that label will come off easily. Just be interesting to know what chip it is, but no, I'll leave it on there. I would guess it's an ordinary RX2 chip. I think I've got this one working with other controllers. $40 megahertz. I'll just go and get another 40 megahertz controller. I'm just trying another random controller that's 40 megahertz. So yeah, I should think that's a standard RX2 chip. I just noticed doing that, if I stop one wheel turning, the other wheel still turns, so it's got a differential in the back there, which always impresses me, makes it just that bit better. Right, I'll put that back in place and then we'll have a look at the steering next. Right, steering. we ready? Oh no, we're not ready. Got 2 more screws behind to take off. Can we do that without removing the battery box? No, it looks like we've got to take the battery box off. So I'll undo them again. Okay, that lifts off. Then we can undo these screws. Okay, right, now we'll have a look. There we go, well, that's very simple. Motor, pinion gear, intermediate gear, and then, can we lift that out easily? Yeah, lift that out. That one's going to have a gear on the other side of it, yeah, which turns that one side to side. And if we lift that one off, we can see the linkage. These have got springs on them to give a little bit of suspension. And then this is going to be a little bit awkward. One of those ones where you need extra hands. How about if I take the spring off? Will that lift out? No, that's just been a little bit awkward. We haven't quite got the clearance to get it out without taking the wheels off. I'll probably push it. Oh yeah, that'll do it. It's going to make it awkward to get it back on again, but we're free. Right. Okay, so we got your center adjuster or steering adjuster, which moves the spring one side or the other. So that adjusts the actual return to center. That little pin there goes between those 2 legs of the spring. And that's what returns the steering to the middle. The motor drives the steering one way or the other, but then when you take your finger off the controller, the motor goes loose and the spring returns the steering to the middle. Now, can we get this back in now that I've messed about with it? Oh, can we get these out to have a look at them? I don't think I've got the clearance. Oh yeah, just did it. There we go. A little bit dusty as well. Spring dropped off. Where did that spring go? That's that spring. Where did that one go? Oh, it's inside the wheel. Oh. There we are. Right, spring's back in place. Get over there. Get that peg between the arms of the spring and see if we can get that onto there. Oh, I've done it. Oh, that was much easier than I expected it to be. And put that one back over there. So that hole lines up with that bit of plastic sticking up there. Fair bit of play there. And that one is going to go back on there, that way up. And the motor goes back in there. And this piece, get it the right way up. Get some of that dust off there as well while we're at it. Right, the important bit there is that little shaft there has to go into that hole there. At the same time, you've got to get the wheels lined up, or the pivots, steering pivots lined up there. Okay, well that went on easier than I thought. Yeah. So, back together. If I flick the switch on the steering, on the power, I know, and then put the steering on. Okay, so we've got the peg back between the spring properly because the steering is returning to the centre. Right, these screws are not all the same size, which is annoying. But I think the only two that are different are the two that hold the circuit board receiver in place. The rest all look the same size. It's nice to see a bit of sunlight coming in through the window, but it does tend to muck up the camera. It does the automatic white balance. Okay, so steering back together. Which way round did that box go? It's got to be that way because the wires go through there. Do they? Yes, that's right. Okay. Let's flip that switch back off again just in case the screw goes across any terminals when I drop it, as you always do. Okay, so that's the front end, the steering. We'll have a look at the gearbox next. Right, gearbox. Can I do this left-handed so my hand isn't in the way of the camera? Oh, interesting. Well, that's the suspension there. I'll take it out just to show it. I don't know if I need to undo it to be able to get the gearbox apart. Probably not. Yeah, it's two little pivots, so not suspension. There's one of the springs. Yeah, I think I could do them back up again, because I don't think we need to have them loose to be able to get the top off the gearbox. And that might be convenient to have that held still, not bouncing around. Right, oh, just knocked the camera. I don't think I can do this left-handed, this is not natural. One. Two. Three. Four. And I think that's going to come off, is it? No, that is still held there. Oh, that's annoying. Right, there we go. Plenty of grease in there. That's our suspension springs. That's our motor. Pinion gear, bigger gear, smaller gear, and then that, which I'm not going to attempt to take apart, is going to be the differential. I say I'm not going to take it apart, just wonder if it'll come out easily or not. No, it doesn't want to come out easily. No, I need to get those wheels off. No, I'm not going to force the issue. it's possible there might be little caps on there that we can pull out and get screws off, but I don't think it's screwed in place. And I'd need to get that apart, or get the wheels off, so we could get the axle out with the differential on it. There are screws on this side of it, so it will come apart. So I'd need to get the wheels off. And being as it's a perfectly good working car, I don't want to force it and find that I've split the hubs. So we'll have to make do with that, guys. Differential in there. Intermediate gear. Which I've just slid out of place, that's better. Yeah, differential, intermediate gear, pinion gear, motor. I don't suppose the motor's got anything written on it that we can see. No, nothing written on it. And for people who like to know these things, so 23.84, so 24 diameter, and 27 long. If we go from there to there, 30. So is that 24 by 30? Thereabouts. And that pinion gear is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 teeth. I think that'll do. I think we've gone as far as we can without actually damaging it at all, trying to get those wheels off. And I think that concludes it. There is a serial number there, 3028001. And there's a similar serial number up there embossed in reverse. It's actually 3028000. But I think that's... Oh, I just spotted some more serial numbers. In there, it's 321961. And there is something else under there that I can't quite see. And that's got 0290 on it. 2A. And 0290. There. Well, I reckon that's about it, guys. I don't think we're going to go any further than that. Put those springs back in place. Push it down and put it back together. I'll screw it back together and then we'll check it still runs afterwards. I just thought, I didn't actually mention it, it's fairly obvious, but I should mention it. Battery box, on-off switch, positive, negative. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Oh. They do confuse things when they go red wire, then to black. Yes. That is the positive. That That is the negative. Negative to the on-off switch and then up to the receiver. Right, all back together. Turn the controller on and it might work. Yes. Seems to go faster in reverse than it does forwards. Yeah, so there we go. Rastar Infiniti G37, I think it said. I picked it up in 2014. Don't know when it was made, but it's a 2008 model. And before you ask, I have no intention of converting this one to hobby grade. Works absolutely fine as it is. I've no idea what range it'll do. It certainly works all right in here. So that's about 8 meters. I just think it does a bit better than that outdoors. Nice car. Thanks for watching. If you want more information, check down below in the video description. If you like this video, you might like this one up here. And if you want to subscribe, you can check out my channel over here. Up here is my latest video on my channel, and down here is a video playlist associated with the video you've just watched. Thanks again for watching.